Hello and welcome to Eerieworm, the podcast where we burrow deep into the melodies that haunt the darkest corners of your ear holes. The place where eerie meets earworm. I'm your host, Ryan Leo Williams, and whether you're a horror music lover or someone curious about the unsettling power of music, you're in the right place. Here, we explore the chilling stories behind some of the most iconic tracks in horror history, breaking down what makes them so eerily effective. Today, we have something special and deeply creepy. We're going to deep dive into a composition that's become synonymous with terror, suspense, and the supernatural. A piece of music that even after almost 50 years can still elicit fear in its audience. It's the track that turned heads 360 degrees. So grab your crucifix and strap yourself down as we unravel the haunting harmonies and cursed history of Tubular Bells from The Exorcist. The power of the podcast compels you! The power of the podcast compels you!
To like and subscribe.
Let's talk about the maestro behind the madness, Mike Oldfield. At just 19 years old, an age in which most of us struggle to get out of bed, Oldfield released Tubular Bells, which was a move that would catapult him right into the spotlight. The recording took place at the Manor Studio in Oxfordshire, and this was owned by Richard Branson of Virgin Records way before he got interested in space rockets. Because studio time was incredibly expensive and in short supply, Oldfield often worked late at night or kind of early in the morning when the studio is free. He was given just 1 week to record an entire album. But despite these constraints, he managed to create a masterpiece that was both complex and meticulously crafted. The record was released in 1973, and this progressive rock instrumental tour de force wasn't just a commercial success, it was a total game changer. It showcased Oldfield's virtuosity by layering multiple instruments to create a rich, immersive soundscape. Mike played almost all of the instruments himself, which included guitars, pianos, organs, glockenspiel, and of course, the iconic Tubular Bells. His ability to layer so many instruments by himself was pretty impressive, and it totally showcased his musical genius and technical skill. In a time before MIDI and digital audio workstations, Oldfield's musicianship was his greatest tool. He didn't have the luxury of correcting mistakes with a mouse click or layering sounds with a drag and drop. Everything was crafted by hand, note by note, layer by layer. The fact that he accomplished all this at such a young age under such constraints is a testament to his total genius. But what makes Tubular Bells truly sinister is its association with William Friedkin's classic horror film The Exorcist. So here's a little behind the scenes drama for you. Originally, director William Friedkin asked Lalo Schifrin, a brilliant composer known for his work on Mission Impossible, Enter the Dragon, and later Rush Hour 2, to create an original score for The Exorcist. Now, Schifrin is no stranger to spooky tunes. He actually composed some chilling music for quite a few horror movies in the past, but when he handed over his initial score to Friedkin, it wasn't exactly what the director had in mind. Apparently, it didn't capture the bone-chilling, make you want to sleep with the lights on atmosphere he was going for. Friedkin, who was known for being pretty intense, decided to ditch the score entirely. But he didn't just reject the music quietly. There's a rumour that he threw the tapes out of the window of the Warner Brothers studio parking lot. You can actually find the rejected score on YouTube, and I have to say, from the extract I've heard, this would have definitely sent the tone of the movie in a very different direction. It's a cracking piece of signature work from Schifrin, it's just very different. It's a great example of how sometimes creative accidents lead to masterpieces. Without that fateful switch, we might not have ever had the spine-tingling, Reagan-levitating experience that Tubular Bells gave us. When Friedkin was searching for the perfect piece to capture the film's unsettling atmosphere, he stumbled upon Oldfield's composition. This decision would not only enhance the movie's eerie vibes, but also entwine the track with a web of dark legends and mysterious occurrences. The music plays a pivotal role in setting the film's tone, especially during scenes that depict supernatural occurrences and demonic possession. Its minimalist piano motifs create an atmosphere of innocence tainted by lurking darkness, mirroring the film's narrative of good versus evil. The production of The Exorcist was plagued by a series of bizarre and tragic events, leading many to believe that the film itself was cursed. So, let's run through some of the most unsettling incidents. I mean, honestly, there are so many weird things related to this production. In interviews, cast members and crew commonly recount weird experiences of their time working on The Exorcist. Stories of strange noises and objects moving on their own were rife. Alongside this, there was a shared pervasive sense of dread during filming. These incidents fueled rumours that the set was cursed, or at least haunted. Firstly, Jack McGowan, who played Burt Dennings, died of the flu shortly after completing his scenes. This was related to the London flu epidemic of the time. Vasiliki Maliaros, the actress who portrayed Father Kara's mother, also passed away at age 89 in February 1973, just before the film was released. The assistant cameraman's wife experienced a tragic loss when their baby died while he was working on the film. A technician responsible for refrigerating the set, which was needed to create the breath-visible cold scenes, also died unexpectedly. I mean, I'm just going to keep going with this. A young night watchman hired to keep an eye on the set was found dead under mysterious circumstances. To top it off, a pigeon flew into a lightbox on set, which caught on fire, causing the burning down of much of the scenery, including many of the interiors, which were completely destroyed. And that's not all. Several cast and crew members were injured during the making of the film. Linda Blair, who played the possessed child Reagan, fractured her lower back while convulsing in a harness, leading to lifelong scoliosis. Ellen Burstyn, who portrayed Reagan's mother, also hurt her back during a scene where she was thrown across the room. Linda Blair and her co-star Max von Sydow also lost family members during the cursed production. A crew member lost his toe, and a carpenter even chopped off his thumb. The incidents were so numerous and eerie that people began to whisper about a curse haunting the production. Even William Friedkin himself admitted that after witnessing all of these strange happenings, he started to believe in demonic possession. Due to the growing unease amongst the cast and crew, William Friedkin asked for a priest to bless the set several times during production. At one point, a real exorcism was considered but ultimately deemed unnecessary. These religious interventions only added to the film's eerie atmosphere and the crew's fear that something supernatural might be at play. It was like the universe was saying, yeah, let's not make this film. And all of this only added to the already terrifying aura of the film, making Tubular Bells the perfect soundtrack for a movie that seemed to be followed by darkness wherever it went. During the film's premiere, audiences were reportedly so disturbed that many fainted, vomited, or simply ran out of the cinema. A woman even broke her jaw after fainting and sued Warner Brothers, claiming that the film's subliminal messages were responsible for her injury. There were also anecdotal reports of people feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and nausea after watching the film, adding to the movie's mystique and the belief that it had an evil influence. These stories have helped to cement Tubular Bells not just as a piece of music, but as a symbol of horror itself. Its haunting presence extends beyond the silver screen, influencing everything from haunted house attractions to many aspects of modern pop culture. The track's ability to evoke fear and suspense has made it a staple in the horror community. Not only that, but the sound design in The Exorcist was also revolutionary. Take Reagan's demonic voice, for instance. Actress Mercedes McCambridge went all out to make it as unsettling as possible. She did things like swallowing raw eggs, chain smoking, and even had herself tied to a chair while recording to capture the sound of real anguish. I mean, talk about dedication. These extreme methods gave the film an incredibly authentic and spine-chilling audio experience that was just as disturbing as the visuals on screen. So let's shift gears and dissect what makes Tubular Bells so hauntingly effective from a musical standpoint. Composed in the key of A minor, the track sets a perfect foundation for the eerie atmosphere. The opening motif creates a repetitive hypnotic pattern, lulling the listener into a false sense of security before the true creepiness unfolds. It may sound innocent at first, but it's actually a musical maze full of tricksy twists and turns. The opening piano melody is set in an unusual 15/4 time signature, which doesn't really follow the usual rhythms we're used to. This makes the music almost feel like it's tripping over itself, creating a sense of unease that's kind of perfect for a horror movie. When the bass enters, it plays a different rhythm, making it seem like the instruments are pulling in opposite directions. It's a bit like a musical tug of war that keeps you on edge, never quite sure what's coming next. Throughout the piece, Mike Oldfield keeps changing up the time signatures and adding unexpected notes, making the music feel unpredictable and chaotic. As the track progresses, it only gets more complex. Instruments come and go, each with their own unique rhythm and melody, creating a feeling of tension. It's almost as if the music itself is haunted, refusing to settle into a comfortable pattern. And that's exactly what makes it so cool. By constantly shifting and evolving, Tubular Bells draws you in and keeps you guessing, much like the eerie atmosphere of The Exorcist that it became so famous for. Furthermore, the track's structure defies traditional pop song formats, embracing a more free-form approach. This lack of a predictable structure contributes to the unsettling feeling, as listeners can't anticipate where the music is heading next. It's this very unpredictability that makes Tubular Bells so effective in a horror context. So there you have it, a deep dive into the mesmerising world of Tubular Bells and The Exorcist. This track truly has left an indelible mark on both music and horror cinema. Its ability to evoke such a profound sense of unease speaks volumes about the power of music to tap into our deepest fears. And let's not forget the string of tragic events that gave rise to the belief that The Exorcist was cursed. Whether it's a string of unfortunate coincidences or something more sinister, the legend adds yet another layer of intrigue and terror to this already chilling story. Maybe that's what makes Tubular Bells so iconic. It's not just the music itself, but the dark, inexplicable history it's forever linked to. So, as we're wrapping things up, just a final few words to say, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any theories about the Exorcist curse or other spooky connections between music and horror, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always eager to explore the mysterious and the weird with our listeners. Thank you so much for spider walking with me backwards down the stairs of this very special episode. If you enjoyed unraveling the mysteries behind the music, be sure to subscribe to Eerieworm on your favourite podcast platform. Until next time, keep your bells tubular and your suit green. I've been Ryan Leo Williams, and you've been listening to the Eerieworm Horror Music Podcast. The podcast with the creepy tunes that burrow deep. See ya!